Hello my fellow hunters and One Piece players. I have updated my Shanks deck for this format and I am quite pleased with the results. This deck is now a good rogue deck in the meta, since not a lot of people will be expecting Shanks, so let's jump right into the deck list. So first we begin with 4 of 1 cost Uta, which is our go-to searcher, and it's the only one we run, so this is pretty much a standard for Shanks. Look for top 5 for any redhead pirate card. So pretty much 4 of Uta. Then we play something new. We play Ace&Sabo&luffy from OP15. This is pretty a good card overall. Its main effect is you may give your active Don card to one of your leaders or character, and then trash this character, then give up one of your opponent's characters minus 3000 for the turn. So this is pretty good against over high power blockers such as the 10 cost Nugate, which Lucy plays a lot of now, and also Nami. And it's also a 2k, so it's pretty good overall. I don't know why this wasn't played sooner, but now it's one of the best cards in the deck. It essentially replaces a lot of our old 2Ks before rotation. And then we play 4 of Hongo, which is a standard 2K for the deck. Activate main, you may rest this character. If your leader is redhead pirates, give up one of your opponent's characters minus 2000. This pretty much just helps us get over problematic cards. So it's pretty much a staple. Sorry, I meant put 4 down. Yeah, 4 of Hongo, which rounds out our 2Ks because we've got 12 in this deck. And then we play another new card. We now play 4 of Eb04 Lucky Roux. So on release, this card wasn't considered to be very good, but now it is honestly one of the best cards for Shanks, mainly because on play you may crash one character of cost 6000 or more and then draw 2 cards. Shanks plays a lot of high power characters, so this becomes more useful. So basically you want to see this in your opening hand, because Shanks is still a going second deck, so this is really ideal for your 4 Don turn now. In the past it was the other Lucky Roux, but we're now running into decks for run protection, such as the Lucy and also Sky Luffy and Anel. So this is much better because this unbricks our hand and draws us a lot. So this, it must be played at 4 now. It is a really good card now. And then we play 4 of blocker Shanks from OP12, which is a staple. On your opponent's attack, you may trash 1 card from your hand, get up to one of your opponent's leader or characters, minus 2000 for the turn. So this is good for unbricking your hand and also stopping your opponent from going for lethal. But it depends on the game state. The only thing is you gotta be careful when using his effect, because you trash 1 card each time you do it. So ideally you want to have a lot of cards in hand before you start using this. But it is another good option for 4. But it's either this on 4 or the Lucky Roux. But yeah, 4 of this Shanks because it's just such a good blocker. And now we play 2 of KO Lucky Roux. So in the past this was run at 4 because back then most decks didn't have protection for base 6000 power or less, but now they do. So this has not become very useful, but it's still a good blocker to play because you can KO some things in other decks, but if you're playing into Sky Luffy, this is not really ideal unless Sky Luffy's got no life left. But it's still a decent blocker. It can carry anything 6000 or less, which is really good in certain matchups. So just 2 of this one. And then we play 2 of Yasopp, which is pretty much a staple card for going first because you're not always going to win the dice roll. So if you are forced to go first, this is an option for your 5-turn turn. It gives your leader plus 1000, so you'll be a 6k leader for the following turn, which can help. Other than that, it's just a decent card, and also it can lower other opponents' cards as well if it has 1 don attached. But this is a card that will get targeted a lot, so it won't be on the board for long. But yeah, 2 of this Yasopp. And then we play 4 of Blocker Uta, which is a standard staple in red right now, since it's played in a lot of things. Pretty much it becomes a 2-cost blocker if you got a 10,000 power body on board, which in Shanks we've got loads of, so it's easily one of the best 2Ks and blockers. And because it's 6 cost, it actually evades some effects. So if your opponent tries to KO a 5 cost or less, this pretty much like gets out of it. So this is a good blocker to have. And then we play 4 of Trafalgar from PLBO2, which is honestly one of the better cards in the deck, mainly because it cannot be removed. So if its character will be removed by the card effect, give it -2000 instead. And also when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2000 during this turn. So this is good comboing with a Silver's Rayleigh or a Beckman. And this is a card that most people tend to target when it hits the board because it is so good. Minusing 2000 of any character is really good, especially for high power blockers. And we're in a format where we're going up against Lucy, for example, because Lucy has 9k blockers and then also the Nergigante. So this is really good at lowering down their power. And if you happen to have a 10 cost red Shanks on the board, you're lowering the Nergigante by 3k. 2 from this and 1 from the Shanks. So yeah, this is a must have. It's pretty much a staple in Shanks, it's been a staple for a while now, to be honest. Now we play 3 of Beckman. So this was run at 4 before, but because of my new list, I had to cut it down to 3. And in this format where a lot of stuff has protection, Beckman becomes a bit unreliable, because this is pretty much not a good card into Sky Luffy, because Sky Luffy will just take a life to protect their board. But it can force it. Don't get me wrong, it's still an amazing card. But in certain matchups it's alright. It just depends what you're playing against. But it's pretty much a staple for any red deck. So I have only run 3 due to my new list, playing a lot of new cards. And now we play 4 of 7 cost Eb04 Zoro. So this is like the best card in the deck. Like, this card has made Shanks much stronger. Your leader gains 2000 power to the end of your opponent's next turn. Activate main, if your opponent has a character of 8000 power or more, this gains character rush. So we're in a meta where a lot of decks play high power characters, so this gains rush instantly. Granted, there's only into characters, but it's still a 9k swing, which is really strong, and it buffs our leader to 7k. So yeah, this is needed at 4. Like, the way Shanks plays now, if you can survive early game up until you drop your first Zoro and then chain them back to back, your opponent is not getting through to your life at all, and they have to deal with 9k swings every turn. So this is arguably the most important card in this deck now, and because of this card it can now compete against meta decks such as Lucy and Enel. Granted, if you can survive the early game, but as soon as you drop your first 2 Zoros, you're pretty much golden, and obviously if you're on 4 more life. So yeah, Zoro is a must have at 4 in this deck. And now we play 2 of 8 cost Silver's Rayleigh. So originally I ran this at 4 in the previous list, but because the way the format is now, because of many decks having protection, he has become less reliable, but his own play is still very good though, like minusing 3k to one character, minusing 2 to another. This is really good at lowering down Sabos in Lucy, and also Newgate, and also Sky Luffy as well. But it can also KO 3000 power less stuff, so it can KO a lot of things really. And if you pair this with a lore, you can take out some high level blockers and characters. But he is alright, like mind you, don't get me wrong, he's still a good card, but he can be replaced with another card. But in my build I like him at 2. He's still one of the best cards in red. And now we play 4 of 9 cost Shanks. So this is pretty much needed at 4 now, along with the red Zoro. If you chain these back to back with this and the Zoro, your opponent is not getting through. And also you've got a full board of 9s and 10s. So your board becomes very scary if you manage to get at least 1 of each out, or even 2 or 3. I've had it where I've had 2 Zoros on board and 2 of these, and like, yeah, your opponent is not even going to survive this turn. So, but yeah, the main thing is now is that buffing leaders to 7k helps us stay in the game a much longer, and we now chain these back to back, and they become 6 cost if your opponent has 8000 power more power bodies, which most will. This card and the Zoro become the most important cards that you want to play before anything else, because they just keep you in the game for a lot longer. And also Shanks' leader effect, you're minusing something down by 1k, so because you're 7k leader, it makes it really hard to attack into you. So yeah, this at 4. And then we play 2 of Rush Shanks. In the past I ran this at 4, but now I only run it at 2. Mainly because it really doesn't do that much, to be honest with you. Yeah, it manages attack power by 1000, but many decks now have ways to destroy this, like Lucy can pop this as well very easily. But It is there for board control. If you've got this, a 9-card Shanks and a Zoro out, this becomes a very problematic card for your opponent, especially if they are, say, like Sky Luffy, where most of their bodies are 5Ks, or not 5Ks, sorry, 6Ks. They drop them down to 5, and it drops the Sky Luffy from 7 to 6. So this can be very good in certain matchups, and it can be very good in turn now since it lowers the 6 cost from 10 to 9, so this can get over it. But this is only a 2-odd though, mainly because it's not really needed as much, because ideally we want to survive longer than beat down. But yeah, it's still run up 2 and is a staple in pretty much any red deck that can play it. And then we play one of Goldie Roger. This is pretty much our game ender. Like, it's pretty standard. Most red decks that can play this will play this. And there will be situations where you'll be taking more life than normal. So when you reach 0 or when your opponent reaches 0, this pretty much just guarantees you the game. Only run 1, mainly because you only need 1 to be honest with you. And because we're drawing a lot from Lucky Roux, you will see this quite often. Like, at my last locals, this won me 2 games in a row, so yeah. And also, my opponent got really scared when I dropped a Zoro, a Shanks, and this on top. Yeah, my opponent didn't have a fun time, but yeah, this is a must have at 1, or even 2 if you can run 2, but only just run the 1. And then we play 2 of Distorted Future. So this is pretty much our replacement for Divine Departure, since Divine Departure is not really ideal anymore since a lot of cards could not be KO'd. So this is really good when we're on low life. If you got 2 less life, give it to one of your opponent's characters minus 3000. This pretty much knocks anything down by 3k, which is really good. So if you combo this with other cards in this deck, you can get rid of a lot of stuff. And also it's a very good generic counter. So yeah, 2 of Disordered Future. So this is my updated deck list for Shanks in OP15 / Eb04 format, and it is still one of my favourite decks, and I am glad it can now compete. Even though it does struggle in some matchups like Red Blue Ace for example, but it's still a very fun deck to play. And I've also finished Sky Luffy, so that'll be my next deck that I'll be showing off. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and share it with your friends. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.